Hey, second graders, it's so good to see you again this week. I hope you guys are doing well. As you can see, today we have a little bit of a different setup. I got really bored this weekend and made a blanket fort. And so today we're going to have our SEL lesson in an awesome blanket fort. All right, so to start off our day, like we normally do, we are going to do some sort of mindfulness activity. And for today, we are going to do mindful seeing. And so there's other times where we might do mindful listening, like where we've listened only to the chime, or where we do a mindful breath, like we have with a belly breath. But today we are going to use our eyes to help us focus all of our attention and to help us regulate ourselves. All right. So to do mindful seeing, I want you to look around the room and find something for you to look at and to focus at. Now, it can be anything in this fort, or it can be anything at home with you that you notice in your own room. All right, so I want you to take a moment and find something for you to look at, one object that you're going to focus on for this activity. All right. Ooh, okay. I just chose what one I'm going to use, and I'll tell you what one I chose at the end of this. All right, so I want you to choose yours. All right, now we're going to notice a few things about that object. So number one, I want you to look at that object and think of, what is the object's shape? What is the shape of that object? Maybe it's a square, a circle, an oval, a diamond. Maybe it's several shapes in one. Maybe it's a flat shape, like a square, or a 3D shape, like a cube. Notice the shape. All right, now let's look at that object. Let's notice the color of the object. So the color might be, there might only be one color, like the color might be red, or might have a lot of colors like blue, red, purple, violet, indigo. Notice all the colors of your object. All right, now let's notice the surface of your object. Notice the texture of the object. Is it smooth and flat? Maybe it's rough, maybe it's fluffy, maybe there's a lot of texture to it. Maybe it's made out of something that's really soft, that if you gave it a big squeeze, it would smush. Or maybe it's something that's really tough and hard, like a rock, where if you tried to smush a rock, the rock is just going to stay the same because it's really tough and hard. So notice the texture of your object. All right, now let's notice, what is your object used for? Maybe it's used for something in the home, like sitting on or standing on. Maybe it's something that you use on a daily basis, like a cup or a spoon. Maybe it's something that you notice that is there to make things look pretty and beautiful. Maybe it's something that's there to communicate. Maybe you're supposed to read it and understand something from it. What is the use of what the object is that you are looking at? All right, the last thing, how do you feel looking at that object? Does it make you feel happy, excited, maybe inspired? Does it make you feel calm and relaxed? Does it make you feel like maybe you want to take a nap? Maybe it makes you feel playful, like you just want to run outside and just go hang out and play. How does that object make you feel? All right, so for my object that I chose this bright yellow sign, and this is a sign of my driveway with my home, and it's something I did kind of to be funny, is to have a sign to help people to direct them to my house. So mine is a diamond. I noticed that it has yellow, blue, and white on it. And it was used to be a useful thing once, but now it's just decoration and to be a little funny. And it's made out of an old pizza box, so it kind of has a little bit of a weird cardboardy texture to it. So that's what I noticed about my object. What did you notice about your object? If there's someone there in the room with you, you can share, and you can also ask them to find an object and notice things about it too. All right, friends, today I have with me Peaceful Panther. Can we all say hello, Peaceful Panther? Hi, Peaceful Panther. So Peaceful Panther and I have been talking a lot since we've been working from home, or more so I've been working from home. And one thing that came up in our conversation the other week is talking about our community and things that I've noticed about my community have kind of changed since we've all had to be at home. And I've noticed some really cool things about the community that makes me really proud to be in this community. And I decided that might be a fun question for all of us to answer today is what is one thing that you really like about your community? What is one thing that you really like about your community? Now, there are a lot of different ways to describe a community, and I'm going to let you choose what community you're talking about. But I want you to choose one thing that you really like about your community. So for Peaceful Panther, he really likes that he's a part of a community that makes cookies for each other. Oh my goodness. Hey, we can't maul Bert. That hurts his head, Finn. Okay. Little kitty kitties, little fur faces. We have to behave if we're here. Okay. I can't tell if that means he's going to sit down or attack. Attack. Oh, Gilly. Oh, Gilly. Okay. Then you can stay there if you're going to behave. Are you going to behave, little one? Hmm? Oh, you took out some of Bert's hair. You are one little aggressive kitty. Right, you can stay there if you're going to behave. Maybe. Mm. All right, now that we did our mindful seeing, guess what time it is? It's Peaceful Panther time. All right, can we all say hi, Peaceful Panther? Hey, Peaceful Panther. So Peaceful and Panther, since we have been at home a lot, we've been having a lot of interesting conversations. And one thing that keeps coming up in our conversations is about our community that we live in. And we've noticed some things that have changed in our community, and we're kind of really proud of the communities that we live in. And we decided for today's question, we want to hear from you. What is one thing you really like about your community? So to give you an example, I live in a community where people it's kind of a small community, and so people often know what's going on at each other's houses and what's going on in their lives. And what that means in our community is that oftentimes people are kind of thinking of each other of, hey, if it's really muddy this week, so-and-so might not be able to park in their driveway, and so maybe we should help them with their groceries to bring their groceries home for them if they have to park at the end of the road and walk all the way up their driveway with all of their groceries. Maybe we should go help them. And so that's something that I've noticed about my community is that they're a really helpful community. And that makes me really happy and something I really like about my community. For Peaceful Panther, he lives outside in nature and he loves his nature community and all the other animals that he lives with, right? So nature makes him really happy and he really likes being a part of that community because it's really unique. There's a lot of different animals. It's really diverse. There's a lot of different sounds from all the different birds. Different animals eat different things and they have all sorts of fun places that they live. And that's what he likes about his community is that it's in nature and it's really unique. There's a lot of unique things there. What do you like about your community? So there's a lot of different things that you might like about your community. It could be the people that live there. It could be that maybe your community has a really awesome park or playground in it. Maybe you really like that your community shares a really specific type of food that makes your belly feel awesome and full, and you love that food that your community makes. Maybe your community is a musical community, and there's a lot of singers in the community and dancers and people that play instruments, and so there's a lot of music in your community. What do you like about your community, where you live? What do you like? All right, my friends, if there are people at home with you, you can share with them what you like about your community. And you can also ask those around you, what do you like about our community? What do you like? All right, it's Peaceful Panther's nap time. Can we all say goodbye, Peaceful Panther? Bye, Peaceful Panther. He's gonna take a nap. All right, so today we're gonna share and talk about community. And we started off by sharing what we like about our communities, right? So I like that my community does their best to show that they care for each other and tries to build relationships with each other. But there's actually a lot of different types of communities. And so first off, why don't we just try to define what community is? So there's a lot of different definitions and components of what makes up a community. But in general, a community is people who are connected or that care for each other, that are in the same area or that share the same interests. So it's a group of people that care for each other because they either live in the same area or they share the same interests. So they like the same things. Some examples of community can be, well, let's say the city of Bemidji, right? So the city of Bemidji, they are their own community. And people in Bemidji, they live in the same area. And so that's what makes them a community. And so they are tied together because of where they physically live. So for example, Cass Lake, they are their own community. And Bena is their own community. Also, Cass Lake Bena is a community as well, along with Red Lake or Leech Lake, right? Or Turtle River. Those are their own communities. And then there's also larger communities. So if you just say northern Minnesota, sometimes an entire area, a big area, can be a community. There's also communities that exist because they share the same interests. So for example, people that love to play soccer and that meet weekly to play soccer, that makes a community because they share an interest, and that's a group of people. Also, people that are spiritual and religious that meet weekly to practice their own religion and practices and beliefs, that makes up a community as well. So today I have a quick activity that I want you guys to do at home that will help you identify your own community. And what you'll need for this is a sheet of paper and a pen or a pencil or a marker. So the first thing I want you to do is get out a sheet of paper, and I want you to fold it in half. All right, so we're going to take our sheet of paper, fold it in half, and we're going to fold it in half again, just like this. All right, there we go. Now let's unfold our sheet of paper, and what you'll notice is now we have 4 sections on this piece of paper, and I'm going to draw lines so that you can see the 4 sections, all right? Here we are. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 sections on my piece of paper. For number 1, I want you guys to write on your piece of paper on the top left square, I want you to write down one community that you are a part of, all right? And keep in mind, a community can be a school that you're a part of, it can be a neighborhood, it can be a town, it can be a part of Minnesota. It could also be something to do with an interest, like a religious group or a spiritual group, a cultural group. It could be an interest like a sport that you're really interested in. I want you to write one community that you are a part of. So for me, I live in Turtle River. So I'm going to write Turtle River for my community. All right. So I want you to write down one community that you are a part of. All right, the next one, number 2, on the top right, I want you to write down why you belong to that community. Why you belong. So I belong to this community because, so for me, I'm in Turtle River. I belong to Turtle River because, well, because I live there. So I belong to Turtle River because I live there. I also belong to Turtle River because I have friends there. I have friends in Turtle River. I love that community. I like going fishing. I like going on the trails. I like going skiing. So there's all things that not only do I live there, but I also do my activities and recreation and enjoy the outdoors in Turtle River. So I belong to this community because why do you belong to your community that you have listed? All right, number 3. Now I want you to write down what you like about that community. What do you like about your community that you wrote down? So for me, I'm in Turtle River. I really love that I live in a small community. It's really small. But also, there's a lot of people in Turtle River that are artsy like me. So there's a lot of people that like to sing and dance and they play instruments. There's a lot of people that make things like make jewelry, make rugs. There's people that make a lot of home goods. There's people that grow gardens. There's a lot of people that are really creative in Turtle River, and I really like that about my community. All right, and then the last thing, number 4, what do you bring to your community? What do you contribute to your community? What do you help with in your community? What's something that you bring to your community? So for me, I bring, oftentimes, I'm kind of young for the community that I'm in, so oftentimes I kind of bring the humor because I'm the youngest. So oftentimes I'm kind of the lighthearted one, and that's something that I bring to my community. Also, I do a lot of sewing, and people often come to me with their sewing questions or they need help with mending something. So that's something I also bring to my community, is something that I have an expertise on, and they come and ask for help for mending or sewing things. So that's something I bring to my community. What do you bring to your community? It might be something that you're really good at. Maybe you make people laugh and smile. Maybe you make people feel comfortable. Maybe you welcome people into your community, and that's what you bring to your community. Or maybe you're the superstar soccer player on your team, or maybe you're a really good assist on your team, right? What is something that you bring to your community? All right, once you have all 4 of these filled out, that means you're a community expert. How cool is that? So each of us lives in multiple different types of communities. So I live in Turtle River. I'm also a part of a sewing community. I'm also a part of a weaving community. I'm a part of a dancing community. I'm a part of an artsy community. I'm a part of a nature community and a fishing community, right? So there's a lot of different communities that all of us are a part of. And those are kind of what makes us who we are. And that's pretty fun. What's cool about community is we get to learn about others and others get to learn about us. And community can be really helpful in the supportive in a time that we are in right now. So even though we don't get to physically hang out with our community members like we normally do, our community still is able to support us and care for us. And right now, you guys, our communities are doing incredible things by staying indoors, staying at home, not going into work. That's an incredible effort that's at the community level that's keeping all of us safe. How cool is that? We live in some awesome communities up here in northern Minnesota, and I'm so proud to be able to say that I'm a part of these communities. All right, my friends, awesome job today. Thanks for sticking in this, all of this with me and hanging out with me today in my blanket fort. If you get super, super, super bored at home, you can also make a blanket fort like I did. All right, I'm going to see you guys all next week. Show me your ready hands because we're going to do peace, love, respect. Here we go. Peace, love, respect for everybody, here, everywhere, and for me. Awesome job, you guys. See ya.